broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Absolutely.
Yeah, we did.
Hey, everybody. What is up? Glad you stayed up late. We are your one-stop, one destination, Bachelor Nation, AfterBuzz TV Nation. We are the Bachelorette After Show, Season 11, Episode 2 and 3. I am JC, and let's not waste any time because we got to settle y'all down. Starting to my left, hey, who do we have? What? Introduce yourself to the panel and everyone listening at home.
Hi, my name is Brooks Forster, and I just spit my own water back in this cup, so now this is ruined for the rest of the show.
2 girls, 1 couple.
Oh, that was so good.
Cathy Kelley starting with your punny.
She invented it. She invented funny.
All right. Brooks, where can they find you, bud?
On Twitter or Snapchat. My Snapchat's Brooks-Forster. I know it's really awkward, but you'll find me eventually. On Twitter, Brooks Forster. I can't keep it consistent.
And with that across the table, Cathy, what do we got? Your name.
My name is Cathy. And someone stole my cupcake gimmick.
Oh my God!
Somebody stole your cupcake?
Yeah.
I know, we'll get into it, but where can they find you, Cathy?
You can find me on Twitter at Cathy Kelley and on Instagram at Cathy Kelley.
And
Nice.
Danny.
Oh, you just email him. That's where you find him.
Daniel J. Hoyt, the man.
My AOL screen name is... you can find me on everything at Danny Hoyt except for Snapchat, which is Danny Hoyt 47. And I have to let you guys know that we, Brooks and I just did a Snapchat, that I will be personally hurt if it doesn't make the LA Snapchat story. It happened at 11. How do you say that?
11/11?
It happened at 11/11.
And that was the wish that you made? Well, you told us
And-
all. Now it's not going to come true, dude. That's how the rules
No, I didn't tell you the wish. I just said to make a wish.
Settle down, you two. 2 minutes and we're already pushing in plugs. And of course, running the 1s and 2s. Please make us behave. Who do we have back there tonight? Okay.
We have Britt.
We have Brittany. What's going on?
Hi.
It's Brittany, baby.
And of course, chat roll, who's watching us live, guys, chime in with your thoughts about tonight and last Tuesday's episode, because we're going to cover not 1 but 2 special episodes. So let's start off with. Shall we start off with our overall thoughts about tonight?
We shan't.
And then we'll go back and overall thoughts on everything we saw in a quick word or two, Cathy.
Great. I mean, it's. I didn't know how to. You only give me 1 word. What am I supposed to do?
1 word.
Okay, Danny, 1 word.
Weird.
Brooks.
Mario Brothers.
That's 2 words.
I put them together. I hyphenated them.
Okay.
Just like your
Mario
Snapchat
Dash
name.
Brothers.
Yeah.
He likes to put hyphens in things.
Koopa. All right, so yeah, it's
Technically.
Kind of the same thing.
What, Mario? Oh, you want a different word? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Twinsies.
Twins, Basil.
Twinsies, and we'll get into it in a second. So, okay, we got to backtrack because we were obviously missed last night, and our fans wanted to know our reactions with everything we saw last Tuesday with Caitlyn being picked as the Bachelorette, and thoughts and the fallout and how Britt took it. And let's first off, I want to talk about Chris Harrison and his delivery of the news.
That was just mean.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was mean. How else are you going to do it? I like that they went right into it and it was raw. And what I actually really appreciated was that Caitlyn did think about Britt right away. It was the first thing she asked how she was. You could tell it was natural. I enjoyed seeing that as a fan. Like I liked watching that moment. That was interesting.
Caitlyn definitely cared about Britt.
Yeah, and I don't think I would have rather seen it any other way. Mm-hmm. I thought that was cool the way they did it.
Chris Harrison's delivery was a little bit hard to watch. It reminded me of Ryan Seacrest in the early American Idol days when he would just dick them around and you're going to go home.
Yeah, no, what it was with Britt. I believe it was Caitlyn. Unfortunately, Britt was sent home. And you just see, it's just that gamut. Yeah. I mean, Brooks, thoughts on that? I mean, he did it with both, actually. It seemed like...
Well, it was just uncomfortable because the way he could have just been like, hey, really person to person, like, hey, Britt, we all love you, but the guys have voted, and Caitlyn's going to be the one on the show, and that's how it could have gone. But I think that's what we were all expecting, how they'd break the news, and for him to do that, we immediately were like, wait, disingenuous.
To Caitlyn, it's funny, but to Britt, it's just mean.
Right.
Yeah.
In Chris's defense, though, it made for a good show. I hate to say that because it was just that delivery of your emotions. What this show does is your emotions turn on a dime, and they both went through that. Both girls did, and Chris played it. He did it beautifully, and that's his job as being the MC and the father of the house. Cathy.
Omika Sheree fan on Twitter just tweeted us.
What up, Omika?
Britt and Brady were the best part of the show. Caitlyn is boring.
Britt and Brady, if they were the best part of the show, they would have got more than the credits. I'm just saying.
Good observation.
But I think that I will be interested to see what happens. I'm curious about it. I want to know.
Do you think we'll see more of them throughout the season?
It sounds like it.
I think Lucy knew, and she kind of led us on to what was going to happen. She kind of said that you'll see her pop in throughout the season. So I think we'll get little updates on Britt's life. Because there are fans who are invested, and they can kind of like tease them along saying, continue to find out. You know what I mean?
I do want to know about her relationship. I think that's really interesting that she came on the show to find love. And yes, she wasn't the star of the show, but if that's what she really wanted, then this is the best possible outcome. She gets to skip all of the late nights and the drama and just go straight from meeting a guy to relationship. That's what she wanted.
You think Britt and Brady will have some group dates coming up next week?
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
What do you call them? If they were a couple name, Britt and Brady, would they be...
Britt or Brady?
Yeah. They'd be Brittany. What would they be? Brittady?
Let us know, guys. It's late here at AFTERBUZZ. Kind of like...
Bratty. Britty Bratty.
Okay. All right.
Brady Britt.
Any other thoughts of what stood out that second episode for you guys? The fact that she and Sean B, which we didn't see a lot tonight, which we'll get to a little later, but...
We didn't see any of... I mean, we saw him in 2 interviews, and that was it.
Yeah, but
maybe.
It was Sean B heavy. And I'm talking heavy. They had a nice little kiss in that second episode that was like, wow.
I do have another thought as well to the last episode. I thought Britt did a good job in the sense of like she took the news pretty well. She obviously was shocked, but she wasn't. She wasn't upset. She was just like, that was a risk she knew she was going to have. I actually thought she took it pretty well.
Yeah, and there was some, talking about Britt, with a few more notes, the fact was that first thing she said, she just wanted to have a family. She wanted to get married and have children, which I thought, the first thing that came out of her mouth that we saw on tape, and along with the fact that she regretted the fact being on the show because she was going to have to say goodbye to the men, because referring to the great group of guys. So, but I mean, out of all those guys, was Brady the one?
I think we all liked Brady from the get-go.
We did.
So she, whether or not it was the one, she got a good pick of the litter.
Yeah, I mean the fact that
it's inappropriate.
he went there for her specifically, and he held his ground. I think is great because there are so many guys that seem like flip-floppers.
Tony.
Yeah. Still in it for Britt. Does he not realize that Britt's gone?
I don't want to jump ahead.
He's just going where the universe takes him. So, should we just move on to episode 3?
Yeah.
To tonight.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for the live viewers. It looks like the live stream isn't going yet.
Oh no.
People are saying in the chat roll that it hasn't started on YouTube. So apologies if you are watching this the next day because it didn't start. But
all right. Well, so then, sorry guys, and definitely please listen to us on iTunes and go to YouTube. Hopefully, we'll fix that problem throughout the show. But let's get into tonight and the lovely talk with. You know what I thought was funny? Once again, they talked about Brady, and this is ending last week's episode to bring us to tonight.
Yeah.
The fact how all the guys were saying, Brady's he's pulling Britt off to the side, he's running out, but everyone actually really loved Brady. Mm-hmm. Like they even talked about it in the opening of the show. I don't know if you guys caught that in the very beginning.
I was gonna say Britt constantly celebrates Memorial Day because she's a fan of the troops.
Oh, you were waiting for that.
I just made that up like 30 seconds ago, and
that was good.
Do you have a comedy team? Do you have is Amy?
Do you have a comedy troupe?
I do stand-up. Oh.
It's always something that you just wanted to do.
Yep.
All right. So this season.
Wait, you know who's a fan of comedy?
Who's a fan of comedy?
And Memorial Day.
Who's that?
Who was the dude wearing the puffy American USA vest at the beginning? Was that Clint?
I missed that.
No, I saw that.
It might have been Clint, yeah.
American
It was
flag
like cut off.
All I wrote is
saw
guy
it.
with the USA vest. How did he know this would air on Memorial Day? That's what I wrote out loud. What a genius! Bonus points for you, my friend.
I think it's Memorial Day. We're all everywhere right now. We need to let's start off with how many men did she kiss tonight?
Get it.
I don't know. Did you count?
My notes tore. That's how many she got 10. I had Ben Z, Ian, Clint, JJ, and I think there were a few more sprinkled along the way. So we had quite a few. But let's start off with the group dates. First off, we have Layla Ali, the boxing date, and JJ's already chiming in. He sees no competition in that group of men, which we have Daniel, Justin, Jared, Corey, Tanner, Koopa, Ben H, and Ben Z. Anything we saw of interest in that boxing date?
Cooper seemed definitely into the boxing date.
Wait,
no matter
is
what
his
he
name
said.
Cooper?
Koopa.
Okay.
Pronouncing my R's.
Stand-up comedy.
But he seemed very into the boxing date, and then for him to say later that he wasn't, there was like a boxing montage of just him.
Well, he says later too. You can hear it when he's talking to Caitlyn. He says about her. He's like, "Well, she was a big deal," and I'm like, "Well, she was a bigger deal to you than Caitlyn was. Hence, we're having this problem." You know, you're over in the corner just like geeking out, like, "Oh, cool! I'm just having this one-on-one date with what's her name?
I would want to Layla Ali. That would be awesome. Muhammad Ali's daughter.
No, both play the game, and can we just give Caitlyn a quick shout out? She's on a group date with 8 men, and she handles it perfectly. I believe she's interacting with all the guests, except for Koopa, of course, but just the way you can put her in any scenario, and she handles it.
Oh, I thought you were referring to the pink boxing gloves. You just were like, that outfit, and she handled it perfectly.
I also like, it seems like she's taking a back seat because she wants to see which guys are there for her and not which guys stuck around for, like, they wanted Britt and they just stuck around. And I think that's why she's letting the guys come to her as opposed to going to approach everyone and trying to have that one-on-one time with them.
Very, very well played, Danny.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. It's still too early. We're still like...
You weren't listening, were you, Danny?
No, he's trying to help everyone in chat roll.
No, I'm not. Okay, to
He's
be
helping
fair,
his cloud score.
I'm
Yes.
talking to everybody in chat because we're not live right now, so there's a lot of people in chat roll that are going like, "Where are you guys? We can't hear anything.
I
Why
feel
have
bad
you
because they're
started?"
staying up so late.
Yeah, there's a ton of people, so I'm just letting them know, like, hey, we don't know what's going on. Sorry, like, we don't have any way to fix this right at this moment. I'm not sure if you guys know anything back there and the producers know anything in the...
We're going to work on it.
Oh, they're working on it, so
I'm so glad it's you, Caitlyn, back there in the booth. I mean, Britt, sorry.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about the episode in hand.
She doesn't get the joke.
She does not watch The Bachelorette. Come on.
I
you
have
just
an
look like a
image that says
dick.
their name, so I saw it's Brittany and Caitlyn, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You are one astute son of a...
All right, Brooke. So what did we get out of this aside from Jared getting knocked out in the boxing match?
Ugh.
And coming from, now you were injured on one of these group dates, Brooke, so we figured anyone would know.
Wait, I just want to go back to that. I was really just being like, that was pretty quick on Britt's pickup there. Okay, so sorry.
No.
Thank you.
No, we're speaking about bachelor injuries, and does that help or hurt you on your journey for love?
Yeah, do you get a little sympathy? Is that what you're going for?
If they like you.
He didn't get to come back for very long. He was like, oh,
didn't.
I'm not actually supposed to be standing. That's what it sounded like.
I'm not supposed to be alive right now.
Yeah, I'm fine, but I can't be here for more than 3 minutes or I'll pass out.
No, but you on your season, you were a victim of the bachelorette injury as well. So I mean, so you have firsthand knowledge. So does this help or hurt the cause?
I believe, what color shorts were you wearing? Were they yellow?
Red, yeah.
And he was wearing
Yellow with a red shirt.
with a red shirt, pink, orange.
Yeah. But I felt like it gave me an awesome opportunity to have like a conversation outside of, like, that's a pretty intimate moment. You know, your finger's broken or he's getting knocked out or whatever. You know, that's good one-on-one time. You can't get otherwise.
So definitely helped Jared in his case to be the final one. Okay.
I was surprised. He came out swinging. He knocked what's his bucket on the ground.
He made it to the finals. I did not
make it to the
expect that because,
finals.
I mean, you even mentioned they had big guys paired with the, not little guys, but like the smaller guys.
Sure.
And
Yeah, they made it for they did it for good
unfair
TV.
pairing.
Yeah, the pairings were a little, but they wanted to like at least let it go to a nice, fun hierarchy, so we get a good final. But I thought that it was interesting that Jared went up to Ben beforehand, and was like, "Hey, don't hold anything back. I mean, like, go at me." And they show their weights: 170 versus what was Ben, like
225.
225. That's a pretty uneven match.
Do you think that's because Jared's like, I know I can do this, and he was like, but I don't want to feel cheated.
Yeah.
Like that was he was like, you give it me.
I would do the exact same
You give me
thing.
everything.
You give me
if I knock
everything
you
you got,
down,
Benzie.
I don't want to be cheated in my victory.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when he
confidence.
replaces you next season on the panel, we want to like be able to ask him like last season. You know what I mean? When this.
Okay. Awkward moments aside, I love that we're dissecting the boxing, but
Wait, no, I have a question on
yes, go for it, Danny.
No,
Go first. It's
I
just-
was gonna say, I think that it was funny that Ben Z wanted to win, not because he wanted to like win Caitlyn's heart, but because he knew that if he lost and went back home, all of his friends would make fun of him.
football buddies,
he's like
he said.
the footballers. They would not ever let me live this down. Jared gave her a note and said to come see him instantly. If anyone else does that, do they get labeled as a villain making a dick move? But because they got hurt, he kind of gets a free pass on this. Because some people knew that's what it was.
Like the
And
Nick V move.
Like the Nick V, and the guy that she was talking to at the time, who was it?
Oh gosh,
Josh?
Let me see.
No.
I have it written down.
What's his
actually.
name? She was talking to a guy, and she goes, "I'll be back."
But she was like, I don't know what to do with this, which
Yeah.
built some suspense.
Daniel. She was speaking to Daniel.
Speaking of Daniel.
The fashion designer. So, yeah, no, but let's talk about like some of the interactions that night with Ben Z. Actually, she and Caitlyn and Ben Z had quite a lovely time. She loved his duality, that he was rough and tough, but also had a sensitive side to him, and he already opened up about what happened to he and his mother and whatnot. So, I mean, you see the onion, you see, the opening of Ben Z, and I think he is really going to go far because I think she really likes that protector, that guy that's going, that
He's a protector, but he's also very sincere, it seems like, thus far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very sincere. I'm not sure what's happening with his facial hair.
awkward silence.
Just let the silence sit.
What do you mean by that?
Jared's facial hair.
No, we're talking about Ben Z.
Danny.
I'm talking about, sorry, we just went live, and so people were
You know what
16
they
minutes
say?
behind.
Like, men can't multitask? Prime example.
I'm just kidding. I did it for
Comedic effect.
No, I was
Thank
absolutely
you.
not paying attention. I was trying to get the people. I was trying to multitask, and I didn't do it.
All right, let's talk more about the conversations. Let's say Justin, and he reveals about his son Aurelius, and we see Corey B, or not Corey, and just anything stood out on that evening for you guys? Not all at once.
No.
I'm just saying Ben Z for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey looks like a school counselor. I wrote that down. That's the guy that you
Wall
said
Street.
looks like. Yeah. The guy that said he looks like he could. He looks like he's in a different age group than most of these guys. Like his age demographic. Like he looks like he's like a late 30s.
Dad jokes.
Yeah, and that's not a knock on him. He just looks like he's at a whole different level than these guys.
Well, because a lot of the guys are 26 years old.
How old is he?
I believe he's 30.
Yeah, he just looks
he
older.
looks-
and he acts the way he carries himself is just like as an older guy.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing at all.
But will that gel with someone like Caitlyn's sarcastic, witty,
If opposites attract, then yes.
then no. Okay.
Meanwhile, it cuts away to the date card. JJ saying he's bummed that he didn't get it, and I want to say this. This guy said that. So it said, "I'll take my breath away," or "I hope you take my breath away."
Yes.
For Clint, right?
You take my breath away, yeah.
Who was the guy who says drowning? He's like, if that
Drowned.
happens, then you'd be drowning. Is what he
It was
said.
the guy that looks like he should be on The Apprentice. What was his name?
Corey.
Corey, yeah.
Corey, yeah, he
I think it was
looks
Corey.
like he,
That was funny.
That she'd be drowning. I thought that was interesting.
As you can tell, there's a lot of meat that we're dissecting tonight on the
Yes.
episode.
Well,
Lots of heavy
I think
stuff.
that comes from when they ask everyone. So what do you guys think the date's going to be? So the producers will ask, and that clip that we're seeing is them saying someone must have said scuba diving, and he was like, hey, by the way, if it is scuba diving and take my breath away, then you guys are drowning. And that's why I think the joke was so good.
You know, you're in there. So let's move on to date 2 with Clint. You take my breath away.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Clint from the onset, even before the date started? Good choice for a first date?
I don't know. know, Cathy, what do you think?
It seemed very safe for a first date. Like, I don't know that it didn't seem like at first going into it there was that much attraction there on Caitlyn's end. But I felt like it grew later into the date, if that makes sense.
I see the opposite with him, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
You thought it got more awkward?
No, I just think that he reminds her of home. To me, he seems like he's got like, even though I don't know exactly where he's from, I don't remember, but he's got that Canadian vibe to him. And
He gave her
Midwestern
dynamics.
vibes. He's from Chicago, I believe.
Is he Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay. But there's just something, he looks like that fun, like he looks like a hockey player.
He does look like a hockey player.
And she admitted
does.
on the date that she was attracted to him from the beginning. She did say that. So.
I mean, they're all attractive dudes. Like, you can't, obviously.
But her type.
Okay.
I thought they just, he had good hair underwater. I was like, that's probably why they picked him.
Yeah,
He's got longer hair. And you had a comment about it. It's like, remember when you used to play Mario and he used to go into the water levels and then he'd get out and he was all dry and perfect? I was like, oh, what, did he have a hair dryer? And you called that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say that they didn't have an attraction, Danny. They were kissing.
No, I never said they don't have a attraction.
I know, I'm just saying in general.
Three levels of kissing, and that was he showed her dynamics, and she liked that.
Yeah.
You got underwater Clint, above water Clint, and you got next level Clint,
Rooftop.
literally and figuratively up on the rooftop.
Some people call rooftops elevated decks.
Yeah, you know what? She seemed really cool. That like they stood on several different parts of his dick, and they seemed to really enjoy hanging out on the dick all night.
You mean deck?
That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a Canadian thing. Okay, so.
It seemed like some of the other guys were gonna get really jealous that she was hanging out on his deck all night. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they
this
just
is-
hung out there and.
This is foreshadowing that moment when she was crying and everyone's like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, it's like you get one opportunity to like stand up there on the dick and make out and.
We take this moment right now to shout out everyone listening to us on iTunes. If you haven't given us 5 stars
There was a
by
lot of
now,
drama when they were on the deck.
we would love for it. Thank you so much. All right, let's
This is a good time to plug our Trojan sponsor.
Yes, they had a lot of fun on the deck.
let us move on. I gotta get you
No, I
guys
have to
off
say
of
something.
that.
There was a moment when they were going to kiss underwater and they were like pushed off from the sides to swim at each other. The way his body was, he looked like the Michelangelo naked baby in the Sistine
Yeah.
Chapel or whatever, like the finger thing.
You two and the bromance gotta stop. I'm telling you right now. All right, so let us move on. Let's move on before they pull the plug on us.
I blame that on Cathy.
To the stand-up, date 3, and Amy Schumer. Okay, y'all got it so excited
I love
that she
Amy
was gonna
Schumer.
tear these guys apart.
She's hilarious. She is by far one of the funniest funniest people in comedy.
She's
not just
great.
women. Incredible.
And let's preface this with Brooks. You've been a part of this process, and the fact that they kept going to JJ and saying what he was going to do. Did he live up to the hype?
Well, he probably did because they didn't show his jokes. Like he did
frustrating.
one joke and then they clipped to someone else, which to me sounds like he did pretty well because it was set up like, oh my gosh, this guy's gonna bomb.
No one bombed. That was the thing.
No
They
one
all
bombed.
did
Except for
great.
Tony.
Tony, but that was a weird. He just reminds me of Ashley S. from last season, the Onion girl.
And for someone who's supposed to be so present, he never understands what to do in the situation. Which
He knew.
I'm like,
He should have taken
Come on.
He never even said a joke. He just walked off stage. He knows. He knows.
so
that's
that
why-
was the joke.
That's why for me he's not like Ashley S. Because she wasn't aware. For me, he's just so.
Oh, she's definitely aware.
I don't think she would like do this in the camera. He's still connected. He's just his mind is thinking in a whole different atmosphere.
I don't know. It seems like some of the stuff he's saying is on autopilot. Like, because he kind of says the same thing over
he
and
like
over.
needs to fill time. He started earlier when they were talking about. He was talking about love is this, love is that. I wrote down that he made up the new beatitudes, like from the Bible. It's like love is patient, love is
Yeah.
kind, love is not
Yeah.
opposed. It does not
He
keep
did,
any
yeah.
record of wrong. He was just like, love is continual and love is connected, and when the universe loves, you love the universe.
I'm
Love is
surprised he
communication.
wasn't on the punching date because he had the black eye still.
Again, yeah, I wrote this down too. I said he didn't even go, and he still has a black eye.
Yeah.
He's still got, and he forgot who he was talking about. He mentioned Britt, and whoever was talking to him was like, "You mean Caitlyn?" He was like, "Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
here
yeah,
for
yeah."
her. I'm for her,
And he
for her. Yep,
stutters,
that too.
stutters like 8 times. Yeah, and then yeah. I'm really here for her.
Okay, so first thing, I always equate Caitlyn, I can't even remember who anymore, Caitlyn to Ashley Hebert, and they had a very similar date where they did stand-up comedy, they had to write jokes, and William Holman was the one that made fun of Ashley at the time, made her cry, but I thought it was crazy that they had the same parallel of the same date this season.
That was a crazy memory.
Dates.
That's what I think is crazy. That was
Good call. She's a historian. And in a final note on that, can we just move ahead and just put Ashley S. and Tony on Bachelor in Paradise and see what happens?
Oh God, that'd be amazing.
Oh please.
Yeah.
Can we
my
please?
We need as much Tony time as we can get.
Tony time. Uncle Tony.
We're breezing through all this, but going back to Clint's date, I wanted to mention that when they were in the car, that's such an awesome moment because you have it rigged with GoPros, so you end up having no producers there with you, and while it is still being taped, you get that true alone time.
Very well.
I want to talk about her car. I think that was her personal car. They had the license
the red
plates.
old school Mercedes.
They had the license
I don't
plates
think so.
blurred out.
It was all like of the interior. I took note. I was like, it's been redone. It's like custom job.
I think that's
I was
her
like,
car.
this dash has been redone.
Sorry, Danny.
It doesn't mean it couldn't be hers.
I mean, that's true. But
doubt it's hers.
I mean, it was just like, it was very nice.
I want to know. Can we get an inside source
custom
on this?
style.
I want to know whose car.
Chat
it is.
roll, let us know.
Usually they have a nice car, like when
Desiree had the-
Des had the Bentley, the baby.
I was in the Bentley. Just
And how was that? Was that the only Bentley you've ever been in?
yeah.
Yeah. And if
When we got to go 55 miles an hour in it.
only 55?
Yeah, I was like, give it some juice.
Why
And she's
should
like,
we-
we can't. We're on the freeway.
Because they can't lose
go
the
faster than
producers.
55.
Really?
Because they're in a van next door, and they're like, we got you in the shot.
Next door.
Brooks, stop talking about that. Talk about
next
something else
door,
more
room.
interesting that we can care about on TV.
I want to say this though about Amy Schumer. Back to Amy Schumer. Andy Dorfman tweeted, "The campaign begins. Amy Schumer for Bachelor at 12."
Oh my gosh.
Larry, that's not the only tweet I saw about saying Amy Schumer for Bachelorette.
She's hilarious. I loved her joke about Thanksgiving leftovers, and
That was a very good joke.
she's just.
I like how she suggested to Chris the dentist to use the toothpaste joke about the color of her shirt, and he didn't, so she used it.
I'll do it.
That was-
Fine, I'll use it.
In
His shirt
his-
is the color of toothpaste.
In his interview, when he said 4 out of 5 dentists recommend, that was a funny joke,
was
and he didn't
funny.
even use that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought that was
well
very funny.
done,
Well,
well
maybe he
done.
did, and we didn't see it.
There was just so much episode that we only got we didn't get enough, I think, tonight, except for yes, Brooke.
I was just gonna say the highlight was when she was talking to JJ, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just smarter than the most 99% of the people in the audience." She's like, "You're not."
You're not. She was great. And what did he say? He was like, yeah, my first line usually when I walk up is like, hi, I'm JJ, I live with my parents, I have a kid. I'm divorced, I live with my parents, and I have a 3-year-old kid. And he's like, do you actually say that? And she kind of grabs the wine. I thought it was a real
Looked
reaction.
right into the
She looked
camera.
right into the camera. She's like, I like that. It was perfect.
She's trying to get him to throw himself under the bus.
All right.
That's why I wanted to see him. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to see JJ bomb.
I know.
I wanted to see it happen. I wanted to see his cockiness get thrown back in his face.
Okay.
I wanted to see that happen.
Brooks, I hate to go to you for this, but what can we infer out of this? Because we were expecting all of this from JJ. Do they have bigger plans for JJ, the producers, would you say, as of now?
I wrote down that JJ is like the Ben Scott of Dez's season.
yeah.
I'm like, he's set up, like their attitudes are exactly the same.
Really? And I wonder if they're even like that in real life.
So JJ's gonna be like top 5. That's what that means.
Oh, prediction, early prediction. Let's move on to the night for when she breaks it down with like Joshua, and Joshua tells her he's a love
Wait, one
virgin.
more thing we didn't talk
man?
about. That Tony, before he went up, said, I'm so excited, I hope I don't gag. What does that mean?
He's nervous. He's doing stand-up. I mean, come on.
Okay.
All right. Poor Tony. Tony, you come on over. All right, let's talk about what happened that night. Her interactions, we already talked about. Brooks is just nodding his head no.
Well, you said, Tony, come on over.
Come on
We're trying to give him some
Come on over, Tony.
Okay.
Damn, I called him baby.
So we already
Baby
talked.
Tony.
Okay, I want to bring up something with JJ and Caitlyn's conversation. He bet $50,000 that he was going to get the rose,
He did.
and he's a betting man.
Is he the investment stock market?
No, he's the guy who bet 20 G's on an onside kick in Vegas. It's on his bio.
That's why
On
he
a what
lives in his
kick?
parents.
An onside kick on a football game.
So
yeah.
he had the money to bet.
Yeah.
And to boot.
Womp womp. All right.
So did some of those bets go bad? Because he did say that he lives at his parents' house, so maybe some of those bets went sour.
Maybe this
Yeah.
one's free babysitting.
Or, alimony checks. Got him broke.
Got him broke.
And she kissed JJ, moved on to Joe.
Yeah, let's talk about that kiss. Kathy brought up a great point.
It it seemed like she was trying to get it over with.
It didn't. Yeah, I noticed the same thing, and I don't know if I would have said it the same way, but she just didn't seem into it.
Yeah.
It seemed very like cardboard, like plain.
Kathy was like this watching it.
I was like, she's cringing.
Awkward.
No.
I'll have to replay
It was just
that.
a
The
weird
same thing
kiss.
with Justin at the end of the first group date when he was downstairs. No, not Justin.
Joe. Kentucky boy.
downstairs.
Well,
No,
Albie.
not
No,
Joe.
They had a nice
the one that
kiss.
got hurt.
Oh, Jared.
Jared.
Yeah, she kind of like
Tony
turned and
James.
she was just like,
She's like,
I
well,
wish you could come inside.
yeah.
And it was
Like
like-
it was very quick to, oh, you can't come upstairs?
Shucks.
And then he kisses her. She's like, well, I wish you could come inside, but you can't.
So let me get back to the
Yeah.
other men. Yeah, it didn't seem like
if
that.
she really wanted to hang
that
out
was
with him,
a
she would
tell.
stay.
You know,
Yeah.
I hate to backtrack, guys. I think we're all over the place tonight, but I got tweets about fans on the end of episode 2, and this is very relatable to Caitlyn, the slut shaming. You know, everyone's making a big deal about it.
This is the first time where even though she is kissing a lot of people, I don't feel awkward about it. I felt
Right.
weirder when Juan Pablo was kissing 20 girls because it didn't seem sincere. She just seems like she genuinely, like the people that she kisses, either she genuinely wants to get to know them or they're forcing their tongue down her throat. So
Yeah, a couple of those guys are forced, and she's not going to be like, no.
she
She
could.
probably would have with Koopa. He was like, all right, talk about it, pound.
No
See you
means no.
later. There was
said-
no kiss.
No to kisses. Like, you just do it
Well, that's what I mean, but
sometimes.
like you said, they're like forcing their tongue down her throat. I feel like they're like advancing themselves on
Yeah.
her.
You know, and then of course
she could say no.
Kathy, you were talking about Joe and this country charm, and
Well, I'll be.
they had a very nice kiss. I was surprised by Joe.
I'm
Yeah, he
definitely
came right
surprised
out of
by
the
Joe.
gates kissing, right?
Right out of the gates?
He pulled her down there and threw her up against the brick wall and kissed her. She liked that, apparently. She said that was hot. Yeah, she was the word hot.
You know, I love that about him. I mean, last week we didn't get a lot out of him. We said the Joker smile and whatnot, but I think his heart's in the right place.
He's
one of those-
likable.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's got a charm. about him.
Absolutely likable. So, anything else before we move on to
Southern charm.
cocktails? All right.
We just breezed
Whoa, that
through
was
this.
fast, yeah.
We're thinking, are we missing anything?
Yeah, it's like, well, I felt like we were on a good date, and you were like, well, I best get home.
Pound, see you later.
Yeah.
Well, we could dive into some more. I mean, JJ did get the rose, and he was celebrating, and we're getting that whole villain edit already from him. So we can always go back into that, or should we move on to cocktails?
Do you think that means that Tony's going to be around longer because JJ and Tony have such they have such a good dynamic going on? Right
Yeah,
now.
it's gonna be-
I don't know
Yin
why
and
it's
the
them.
yang.
They're like going at each other's throats.
Yeah, their energies do not vibe.
So much so that Tony was like, I might have to go home. Like, I just hope I don't have. I'm like, what do you mean you don't? I hope you
Go
don't
do
have to go
some
home.
yoga, you'll be okay. Go do a little downward dog.
Yeah. I want to see some more of the other Ben, not Ben Z.
Ben H?
Yeah.
we've kind
Which
of.
one's Ben H?
Exactly. See, he was the first person. Was he
See the one in the glasses?
No.
That we were like, who's that guy?
Yeah.
I'll give you Ben H.
That was someone else that I still don't remember his name.
Ben H is a software salesman out of Denver, 26 years old. Really
Oh,
clean cut.
that's the big. Oh, now I know who he is.
Yeah, so I mean, it's still
I feel like
episode
they look
2,
like
guys.
Yeah, we'll also see a lot more of Sean since we know she loves him. And then I think, what's his name?
Joshua.
Tanner? No, Tanner.
Yeah, we didn't see Tanner much.
We didn't see much of him, but I feel like he's funny and
Yeah. Well, I think that I also noticed. You guys noticed she called. I like Ben Z. I don't like. I kind of like Ben Z.
Yeah.
And at one point she was talking to him, and I thought she was calling him a nickname, and I forgot his last name. So she was like Benzie.
It's
like,
perfect, yeah.
oh, Brooksy.
Benzie.
Boy, like, I thought she was calling him Benzie. So can we call him Benzie instead of
Benzie.
Benzie?
Yeah, Benzie.
Benzie and Ben H.
All right, so let's move on to cocktails. And of course, was it Kathy that talked about the dress?
No, that was him.
Danny, Fashion Police, yes.
I just mentioned. Well, okay.
You know, it's very sparkly.
I liked it.
I have two things to say. One, I do have to give Koopa a shout out. Back during the boxing, he was wearing the Jordan 11 Concord Lows, which are an amazing shoe I have.
not
and
even
they're
Tuesday.
fantastic. Oh, it is now.
Nope,
Wait,
it's
no,
not.
wait, Danny, let's stop
Yeah,
and
it is.
unpack this for a little bit. You have a problem.
It's not a problem.
It's okay.
Danny has a shoe problem.
It's a great pair of shoes. I just wanted to give Koopa one redeeming
What
quality.
did they give like half a second shot of that? And you were like, Jordan 11s.
No, they're the Concord Low Jordan 11s. They were,
All right, settle
they're
down, you
amazing.
two. We can talk about our shoe obsession after the show, but let's talk about JJ pulling the robbery because Benzie was
Oh, I liked her dress. That was where that came from.
Yes.
I did like her dress. Well, it had the back thing. It was like a little interesting, but I
The
liked the back
leg.
cutout. The back cutout
Pop
and
in the leg.
looking beautiful. No one stops her sparkle. Okay, so let's move on.
I see what you did.
Thank you. No, about Benzie saying, let the other guys have a chance.
That was a
great
right out of the bar. Yeah, I said that out loud. Like right away, that impressed me. He said,
Before it even started.
Before it even started, he's like, "Hey, so I do have a rose. I'm gonna take a back seat to you guys." He initiated it. I thought that was a really stand-up thing to do. Made me like him more.
And JJ went the
Little
opposite
Benzie.
direction.
So are we okay with the JJ robbery?
No,
Was that cool?
Absolutely not.
I mean, that's the short game. Is you're gonna get a lot of attention for the short time, like the next couple weeks, but that doesn't necessarily build a lasting relationship.
And I feel like you even said when he did it, it didn't look like she really was a fan of how he was approaching.
Well, I think that it was that coupled with if it was something romantic and cute that he wanted to steal her away for, that would be one thing. But he basically stole her away and then confirmed all of her suspicions with him stealing her so fast. He's like, I'm not here to make friends. I just made 18 enemies, and I just want to get to know you.
Well, Brooks, didn't Ben V pull that last season as well?
Well, she says something later on, and I marked it down. I remember saying, like, she hasn't had the challenges. She hasn't had enough time to see who he really is. So I think we're going to see this pattern continue to happen where there's all this good time in front of Caitlyn, and we as the audience members are like, you can't see who this guy is? But meanwhile, back with the guys are like, this guy.
She knows already because he tried to kiss her and it was just a peck, and then she like walked away and she didn't even care.
Well, it was almost like he was lecturing her on like husband material, slightly.
Yeah.
He said that when he got back to the guys.
That it's something of the connotation
Why?
of those words together. If you have to say that's what you are, you're not.
Right.
I know that doesn't ring true for everybody, but there's something about that really rubs me the wrong way. Every time he's like, I just had to remind her what husband material is. That was like
putting everyone else down.
Everyone else in the
Why
room, it was
say
like
that?
saying they weren't.
Why even vocalize that to other people? Because then you're just there to make enemies. It's not that you're trying to find a wife. It's you're there trying to find a wife, but you're also
instigating.
trying to make enemies.
Yeah, and there's something about it, and this isn't always true, but in this case, what it seems like to me from my perspective is it's an insecurity that he has that maybe he feels like he's not, and he's overcompensating by speaking that into existence. It's like self-talk, but it should be to himself. Now it's like everyone talk
Word
about
vomit.
himself. Yeah, it's a word vomit. It's like Koopa, but a little more of like directed at people. Koopa's just word about himself, not trying to rub anybody the wrong way.
So is he in it for the right reasons? I had to say it.
I think he's trying. He's doing it wrong, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, we all agree.
Well, because he's treating it like it's King of the Hill. He's like trying to knock them off. He said, "Oh, I sent so and so." Like he did it himself. That's
a good
It's like this isn't like a challenge.
Didn't he
You're
use
not
the
competing
term-
with.
Well, he's like, I pushed him out the door. Didn't he say that at one point?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I pushed one guy out of the door. Hopefully, I can do another one tonight.
Isn't this funny? We're barely in episode 2, and we're already talking like this. Usually unveils itself like 3, 4, 4 or 5 episodes in.
We've gotten better as audience
I think
members.
that he almost got cockier by getting that rose on the group date, and had he not gotten that, he wouldn't have been as pushy.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're probably right.
that's interesting. So let us move on to the opposite end of that, because then right after that we get Ian, who ends up pulling Caitlyn to the.
Dude, Ian was great.
Ian
Ian went up in my charts. I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
me
you weren't on
too.
my radar. Now you're like.
He was on my radar because I thought he was a very stand-up, mature guy. I liked the way he presented and like carried himself. But when he did that, even the fact of the cute little thing, they don't have a lot of common ground yet. But one common ground they do
where
have
they met?
is their literal common ground of where they met, and he took her to that. I thought that was very clever and kind of
Thoughtful.
suave. It's kind of like a Will Smith and Hitch kind of move. Something that I think that a lot of guys could learn from. Like that's a way you build chemistry and a memory.
Well, and every interaction is just them talking and having, like just being themselves. It's nothing's forced. He's not like, hey, I want to tell you this, or hey, do you know what I mean? Like JJ's dialogue was forced with her, and they're just having some time together. Koopa's dialogue was forced.
You know what's
Ian-
interesting too? Go ahead, Kath.
I was gonna say that Ian doesn't seem like when he has conversations with her, it doesn't feel like for him there's other guys around. With all the other guys, it's very very apparent that they're there competing with other people.
Yeah, and one thing about Ian too is I like the way he went into it. It didn't end up happening, but he mentioned I want to do like a little rapid fire or speed dating is what he said. Speed dating, which a lot of times is like quick question, so they could learn stuff about each other. Would have been fun. Ended up giving him a platform to tell his story, which she was locked. She was enveloped in what he was saying. Obviously, he has a story that's easy to listen to because it's tragic, but he's overcome it, which anybody can relate to that kind of thing. So I thought that was just it was really well done, and it
I was worried about that.
him.
I was worried about that, Danny. That I thought it was almost like he was going to, revealing that his story too soon, and somehow it just was right. Because you don't get a lot of time.
We know from last season, Kelsey with a tragic story, that it can be a story, and I think that the way that he said it was.
Yeah, I didn't feel like he was doing it to
like
get
a story,
sympathy.
yeah.
It wasn't like, I need this from you.
He just
I want you
needed
to
to
know
tell
this
her,
about
yeah.
me. This is who I am, Ian.
And it's interesting, out of all the Bachelors, I think he's the one, even since episode 1, that we know that he's 100% here for Caitlyn.
Yeah,
that was his
that's true.
first statement. So
That's right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. Yes, Kathy.
Joe Bailey, I think, was the other one, Joe B, who said that he's like, I was only here for you, and I didn't talk to Britt at all.
You're right.
And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's right. He said, I didn't even talk to her.
She's like, I don't know why I like you. There's something about it, and I can't put my finger on it. There are a lot of reasons, but I don't know why I like you. And then he shot back with, I didn't even talk to Britt.
All right, Brooks.
That's good.
So if I ask you this, doesn't want to be the guy for the date quota, and those were words from Koopa. What did he mean by that?
I took it as he didn't want to be a guy that was left on the show just to be someone filling group dates, and he's saying, I don't want to be here longer than I have to be. And I'm like, well, you got what you asked for because you just voted yourself off the island.
Yeah, I mean, everyone said it. Every Bachelor and Bachelorette say that they know their top 5 like the first night, right? So it is just a numbers game at that point. It's a TV show. They have to whittle it down in a certain way because of the producers. But I think that I also really respected that he said something, because that's more like real life. It is a two-way street. Both people have to be invested in building a relationship, and he didn't feel it at first, so he just wanted to know what was up. I think he was wrong about it, but
Just the way he handled it. And then, of course, Caitlyn was feeling him because, well, remember, music is her thing. And they both had that commonality. They had that in common. And then she lost it like that. Can her feelings go away that quickly? Or do you have to be that quick?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's got connections with other people.
Yeah.
She's like, we have a limited amount of time. If I've got to sit here and talk to you about where I'm at, every single thing, reinforce these insecurities, then she was probably like, yeah, this isn't going to work. Like,
in real life, if you have a bad date right off the bat, first or second date, why would you want to continue dating that person?
Okay.
Word.
True. So anything else that we got out of Caitlyn and Koopa?
I feel bad for him. I don't think he went in trying to do that. I think it's something he's probably noticing himself, but it seemed like it just kind of happened and he couldn't backtrack. He was like trying to like swim and keep his head above water, and he just kept digging himself deeper.
You're hot.
Yeah, it just snowballed. It snowballed. He was trying to like win her back, and then when he had his little out interview, and he just started getting angry, and that started getting a little scary.
I was worried
Yeah, we
about
got to
it.
see Elan spotting.
Yes,
We saw the back of his head. Yeah, and Elan tweeted while this was happening, just he tweeted it, and then another producer. What was the name?
Mike Fleiss.
Mike? No, it was a different one.
Millsy.
Yeah, somebody Mills. Brian Mills, maybe? Harold
Robert
Mills?
Mills?
Robert Mills tweeted, if you think the ending to this episode is crazy, just wait till next week.
Because Robert's he's an ABC guy.
Oh, shoot. So maybe this is going to be one of the most dramatic episodes ever.
Yeah, because
I just love that she was saying, well, why should I keep you here? And he was talking about, oh, you're hot and whatever. And she's like, well, there's more to me than that. I love that she was standing her ground with it. And then he goes, well, we both like movie quotes.
Yes or no?
Did it like true or false?
Yes or no?
We both like movie quotes, yes or no? Yes or no? And
Because that is the basis for any good relationship.
then he interrupted her and he goes, that's skitty. I don't want to say it. My mom watches this.
Nah.
It's like, that's shizzy.
Okay.
And she's, excuse me? That's shizzy.
No, but guys, I have to move because
I don't want to say a word.
I'm mad. I feel cheated.
What do you feel cheated about?
No
the
rose
TBC?
rose ceremony.
Yeah, I wanted to see.
You can't do that anymore, guys. They did it last season quite a bit. They did it halfway through the season.
Yeah, it's annoying.
I just want to see, like, Caitlyn looks like she's going out to rescue Alon. Like, that's not something that would happen. Like, I feel like there would be security or someone to hold him back.
I think she's gonna go out and tell Koopa off. I think that's what's gonna happen. Yeah. Like, let's talk about what we think is actually gonna happen. I think she's gonna go outside and she'll be like, hey, enough. Like, leave.
Homegirl's got balls.
She does. And I appreciate that.
She's gonna pull an Emily. She's gonna pull an Emily Maynard.
Okay, I have a question. Hypothetically, let's say she goes outside and tells Koopa off. If Andy Dorfman was in the same place as Caitlyn right now, who gives the better telling of Koopa off speech? This is all hypothetical. Yeah. Would it be what Caitlyn is about to do, what we think she might be about to do? Or if Andy Dorfman is walking out the door, who do you think?
Well, Andy did that to Eric, remember?
So, what do you think? Who gives the better telling off speech?
I think, for me, the way that Caitlyn was telling off Koopa earlier in the show, I really appreciated because she was very level-headed about it.
Yeah.
And it was very relatable. The way that Andy does it isn't bad at all, but it's very...
Well, and this is what I think is the, I was going to say the same screw on the heels of yours. I think because Caitlyn has this sweeter side to her, and it's like, okay, enough is enough, then she's standing up for something. As where Andy, from the very get-go, was somebody who's very opinionated from the get-go. So when she stays in that vein and just goes further down, people are like, okay, I'm getting uncomfortable. She's getting angry now. But Caitlyn's just like, hey, I've had enough. Like, and now I'm going to...
When she gets angry, you take it seriously because she's laughing and giggling all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did laugh when she was talking to Koopa. She not laughed, but she kind of smiled. Like,
we'll see.
It's disarming a little bit. Whereas in Andy, I think she's armed, like guns blazing, kind of.
Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, because it leaves us at a loss because we don't really get to talk about who got sent home, who stayed.
Can we guess who gets sent home?
Should we just move on to predictions?
Yeah, let's predict.
All right,
let's do that.
Okay, all the guys that we didn't see.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
Oh, Danny, what do you got?
The guy with the glasses and the hair part. I think he's gonna be around. What's his name?
Ryan the realtor.
I think he's gonna be around
with
for a
good
while.
hair. Okay.
I think there's a reason we haven't seen him. He dresses well. He looks good. He seems like he has charisma. Like the guy.
You're describing you, man?
No, that guy I was in the credits. We're not even to my part of the show yet. That's my prediction. I think Ryan's gonna be around for a while. I don't think he goes home. I think there's a reason we haven't seen much of him yet.
You're thinking a Catherine edit already with Ryan? Okay.
Possibly, yeah.
All right. So predictions: who is going home? She's probably gonna cut. I'm gonna say she's gonna cut 3. They usually go. They're at 19. They're gonna go to 16. Koopa? Yeah, so we're only gonna lose 2. I think Koopa's done.
I don't even know the names of the guys that are going home because we barely saw them tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone?
Do you think anybody that she kisses goes home? Like she kissed goes home?
No. It's
who are the 4 that she kissed that you had written down?
I only have 4. She kissed more than 4.
I don't know. I can't think of all the names.
Do you think Tony the healer's going home?
No. Yeah. I think he's around 1 more week.
Yeah.
You think Tony's gonna stay?
At least 1 more week, yeah.
She makes him laugh.
I think Tony is leaving. And that's all I got, man. I can't. Anyone else? Chat roll. Let us know who you think's going home. Let us know before next week because we have to wait a full week for this.
Yeah.
See, I'm angry.
I just want Bachelorette to go back to the normal time.
Yes.
Because it starting an hour late is messing up my schedule.
Throwing off my steez.
Thank you, Cathy. All right. So, any more predictions or what we see? How about predictions? What we're going to see this season? Because they gave us a clue of what was going to happen after episode 2.
It's going to be dramatic.
No, but we're talking about.
We'll see some roses.
I think we see Nick Viall.
Yes, they show that in the preview.
Yeah.
Does she sleep with Nick? Who does she? Because we see. Okay, once she confesses that she slept with someone, and you see someone naked running across. I don't know if it's like a golf course.
Does she say she slept with someone, or she just did a really bad thing?
I think they said that she had sex with somebody. That's what I inferred.
Mm-hmm. She's brought it up.
We also know in past seasons they've said that they had sex and it was not the case.
I think she did because she gave an interview over on ET a few days ago, and she declared she's a 30-year-old woman and she is empowered by what she.
Caitlin's 30?
I believe so.
What?
I thought she was like 27.
She looks 23.
Yeah.
Is she really, can we confirm?
I said that on Entertainment Tonight. But she is a woman in charge of her own feelings and emotions. She's an empowered woman. If she likes someone, she's gonna sleep with them.
I think that yes. I think it's Caitlyn and Nick that have sex.
Really?
I mean,
And it's not fantasy suite. It's like a sneak to the hotel kind of thing in another city. I think it's in like Prague or wherever they are.
So do you think some people go home and once they hear that?
I think that it turns into she has to defend herself. Like all the guys are pissed, and I think there probably will be at least one guy who's like, "I'm sorry, but I can't build this off."
You see that on the teaser.
Trust.
You see Ian really going at her about it. He's really crestfallen about the whole thing because remember his feelings for her.
Sure.
And then of course they mix in some stuff that doesn't match. Like Chris is crying, and you're like, okay.
it's difficult because outside of this situation, you would have potentially had the talk, are we exclusive, whatever it is, at that point in the relationship. And obviously you can't have that talk there, so.
Yeah.
The feelings are heightened. You're in that house. You have nowhere to go. There's booze. There's one girl. It's a hornet's nest of alpha males.
I think they assume that happens at the fantasy suite, but that it's unfair to happen before.
Okay.
But I'm sure it has before,
Yeah.
correct?
And we also know that Nick had a he was tweeting her before the show, even like before when she was on Chris's season. He's had a crush on her for a while.
That's interesting that there's like these sub rules. Like it's okay if it's in the fantasy suite. Like that. Okay, it's okay then.
Who came up with the rule?
But prior to that, when did that happen? When was that
It's
a
like
thing?
an unspoken bachelor rule.
Yeah.
Danny and I did a video, you were in it, about people's picks, and Nick said he's just like, selfishly, I hope that Britt's the Bachelorette so that I can date Caitlyn. He said that on our video.
Yeah.
Where can we find the video, guys?
You can find the shorter version of the video on YouTube Show MG, and it's on there. Or we can post the longer version of the video. Nick is okay with it, so we can post that. Where should we post it? It's a minute and a half long.
Can we post it on the bottom of our description for our video tonight?
I'll probably just upload it as its own YouTube. Let me find out. I'll get back to you guys.
We're work in progress tonight, everybody.
Let me talk to Nick.
Okay.
I know that he was okay with the whole thing being seen.
We told everyone to do it under 10 seconds. And
Nick gave us 90 seconds. So no, it's not 90. It's like 45 seconds. So let me find out.
I'm still bummed they didn't take my suggestion from that video.
Oh man, that's
know?
called a tease. I don't know what.
It was more of like.
Can we upload your entire video?
I guess they kind of are because they're doing two to follow both dates. I was like, let's just do Brittany and Caitlyn.
All right, let's close on that note, folks. So let us know who do you think Caitlyn slept with? That's the question. That's the AfterBuzz question for the week. Send us your predictions to YouTube and iTunes. So that's it. Let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here. So once again, if you haven't done so, please subscribe. Go to youtube.com/AfterBuzz TV. Check out our show, chime in, or go to iTunes and SoundCloud and let us know what you think. With that said, Brooks, where can they find you, buddy?
Just send me an email.
What's your Twitter handle?
At Brooks Forrester. That's probably the best place.
And Danny, for yourself?
You can find me at Danny Hoyt on everything except for Snapchat, Danny Hoyt 47.
And the original Cupcake, where can they find you?
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at Catherine Kelley, on Instagram at Cathy Kelley, and I do a radio show with my friend Francia called What the Francia on Dash Radio Tuesday nights.
Oh yeah, sorry we weren't live for the first 16 minutes, by the way, guys.
Yes, for sure.
That will
Chat
never
roll.
happen again. Sorry.
We cannot do it without you. And Brittany, where can they find you?
www.brittanygossipson.com.
Nice. And you can find me at JC Rubio TV on Instagram and Twitter. So for Brittany, Cathy, Danny, and the lovely Brooks, we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Mom.
See you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.